We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars Wrestling Show. Kids, we're at episode 400. In case you don't know who we are by now, I am your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. Joining us this week, the OG Undisputed Scholar himself and your Scholars of Wrestling World Champion, the one and only Scholar Tarek. Scholar Tarek, how is your episode 400 going tonight, sir?
My episode 400 is just going wonderful. We have made it to episode 400. 400 episodes of the Scholars of Wrestling. And for all the people who just joined us on 400, go back and watch all the other episodes. Maybe skip
all
the beginning.
399 of them in order.
Take your time. We'll wait.
Who are we kidding? I
Later.
actually went and looked back on past episodes of Scholars of Wrestling. We do have episodes that are missing, unfortunately, but hey.
Hey, it was a learning experience
noticed?
all across 400 episodes. Yes, what did you notice?
You know what I noticed? Episode 300, I was party champion. Episode 400, I think I evolved into something greater.
Just a tad.
This lovely title on my shoulder, representing the Undisputed Scholars. Right, Brian?
Indeed, because as I've got nothing as of right now.
You know what?
You did that.
Instead of just, right, Brian? How about my tag team partner, Undisputed Scholar Brian? Man who is known to make himself in all of Scholars of Wrestling history. He has joined the ranks on top of the mountain with me as Undisputed Scholars. Former Scholars of Wrestling champion, former Scholars of Wrestling party champion, former Scholar in the Bank, multi-time Scholar in the Bank, multi-time cash-in to win said Scholars of Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. Scholar of the Year. I think that's it. Yeah.
That's it.
I think that's it. And you know what? It's quite a list of achievements to get to be Undisputed Scholar. And doesn't it feel good? Undisputed Scholar Brian.
Indeed it does, because looking back at the same episode where you were party champion, I can almost fairly guarantee that I was holding that belt that you're holding right now.
Undisputed Scholars,
but you know what?
In full control of Scholars of Wrestling.
But you know what? That's just the way that this party goes. Okay, it's episode 400. I might as well take some time off from being top champion and party champion and being top of the heap and all this. Give it to my tag team partner, let him run with it for a little bit, considering he was the first OG to do it. Might as well give him another run.
And you know what else, Brian?
For our host, you'll get there. You'll get there at some point this year. It always happens.
You'll get there eventually, fool. You'll get to enjoy the top of the mountain with us.
I'll tell you what. Even after all this time, some things never change. But before we reflect on all that good stuff, let's reflect on the week that was in the world of professional wrestling in a little segment we like to call Backstage News.
Indeed, we shall go ahead and start the show like every show by peeking behind that curtain and checking in on a little
Backstage News. People are fired, man.
No, you gotta go. We gotta go one step further. This is episode 400, Brian. It's gotta be 400, man.
People are fired.
400, the 400th meh. That may not be true at all, but I don't care.
Audio
it's episode
just got
400.
blown up.
What you want a loud meh? Meh doesn't work if it's loud.
Meh.
Indeed, but like we were mentioning before, there's been some moving and shaking in the world, in the professional wrestling world. Even when I can't talk, we are of course talking about the recent firing of Ace Steel from AEW. It's official now, which has also seemed to kick off a fresh round of speculation in regards to CM Punk's contract status. Dave Meltzer and others seem to be speculating that this is an indication of a buyout of CM Punk's contract. Some are even speculating that, hey, maybe WWE will pick him back up again. This is all getting a little out of control for my taste. I gotta turn it over to you guys. What's actually true here? Do you think that CM Punk's contract is actually bought out? And does he have any chance whatsoever of going to WWE at this point?
Here's what I think. Okay. Ace Steel is gone. There's
first
been no
casualty.
further questions.
First casualty of that fallout.
He
of,
needed
fallout.
he needed to go. He bit somebody. That's weird in itself.
Mhm.
But it's like that. I think that's unnecessary in all walks of life. But whatever. So he needed to go. But the fact that he went, there's been no other consequences for the Bucks and Kenny Omega for what happened over there, other than the fact that they're not on TV right now.
And it looks like that's on its way of coming to an end. I mean,
that's
they're starting to
coming
be
back.
shown on TV, both them,
Yeah.
and Punk.
And but it's also like, yeah, I can definitely believe that they're working on a buyout of the contract, because who in the AEW locker room is going to want to work with that dude now that he basically blew them all up in a real life press conference, whatever. It's been said that he's gonna have to make major reparations to people in that locker room in order to actually get anything done. Why would and CM Punk is CM Punk? Why would he want to do that? So yeah, buy out his contract. Okay. Listen, CM Punk, while CM Punk was gone for this ratings, for the ratings and all that, while he was gone, the ratings have been higher for a while than they've ever been.
Because they've been putting on pretty decent products. Oh, this past
Okay.
Dynamite alone was awesome. Was one of the best shows this year.
I'm like, they're proving. Okay, CM Punk's a name, but if you're gonna be that much of a dick while you're being a name, okay, you're not necessary. Okay, it was fun. It was nostalgia. It made people feel good for a time. And then we remembered, okay, who you really are in the end. Okay, this is not new. What CM Punk did at that press conference is not a new thing. We should have seen that coming. We did not.
Now it just begs the question on where do we see him go from here?
I honestly think, okay, he doesn't need WWE. He doesn't need wrestling. As soon as he gets this contract bought out, he doesn't need to work again. Do you understand how big his contract must have been in order for him to get out, in order for him to come out of it? If they buy out his contract, okay, as it said, I read a report that said that Triple H is willing to do it, not full time, but like a Brock Lesnar type thing, if the story was right. Okay.
Then again, I do feel the need to bring this up, though. We're talking about how he doesn't need to wrestle. He's financially stable enough where he doesn't need to do that. I don't think that's
If he
the
wanted
all
to,
end all.
if he wanted to wrestle, he wouldn't have done what he did. Okay,
Mm,
no, no, no. Look, okay, I'm all for, I'm all for wanting to see wanting to see CM Punk wrestle. I'm all for wanting to think good of the guy and all that, but I can't do it.
and
I
you know
can't.
what? I don't blame
After
you for that, and that's
I,
not the
I
point I'm
so,
I'm making here.
but it's also like, look, this is just me personally, and I'm sure this isn't the point you're making, but this is me personally. That after what he did and what became of it, it's like, it's not a point of I don't need to see him anymore. It's at the point where I don't want to see him anymore. It's
Agreed.
like it's like if he shows up in WWE, I'm gonna hate it. If he shows
Exactly.
up in AEW, if he shows up in AEW, I'm gonna hate it. It's like if he shows up in WWE, I'm gonna be like, hey, Triple H, this is the first thing I'm gonna shit all over you for. That's it.
Right. And there's
That's
I'm
it.
not going to dispute that for a second, because really I think it's unanimous that what Punk did and the way he did it was absolutely inexcusable. However, the one thing I must call into question here is Punk's desire. Because just looking outside of Brawl Out, which seems to be catching on as a term, everything else we've seen, as stubborn and as proud as Punk wants to say that he is, this is a guy who, at his core, loves professional wrestling. He has just gotten spurned by it, whether by his own doing or not. I am convinced that there's a part of him that still, after all this, still loves professional wrestling. He may want to say, oh, I'm working with children, or the WWE machine screwed me over, blah, blah, blah. The only reason I'm convinced the only reason he acts so angry and standoffish is because he had his heart broken and he's too proud to admit it. But all of that to say
But
that I think
but
the desire is there. I just think he's a grumpy ass dude who doesn't know when to shut
but
his damn
but
mouth.
here's also the problem. Okay, Triple H is willing to work with him. Is CM Punk willing to work with Triple H? Because remember, CM Punk did not like Triple H, did not like any of his friends. So is this one of those things where he'd be like, I'll take the money to do your shows, even though I don't like you? Or is this going to be another one of those things where he shows up for one show and then goes off at the end of that show and does another fucking press conference like the
That
one he so it's like Triple H. I know you're saying what people want to hear, but it's like as as no, don't do it.
and that really
It's
I
not
believe is
even
the big
it.
question here, really.
Yeah, it's like it's like, look, it's not about whether CM Punk wants to do it, because he might want to, he might not, whatever. It's whether Triple H should do it. And I'm saying, Triple H, don't fucking do it. He doesn't like you. He said out loud in public that he doesn't like you. So he doesn't like you. He doesn't like the people you work for. He doesn't like the McMahons. He doesn't like Kevin Nash. He doesn't like any of the people that you stand with. He's
So
gonna screw you over. Don't do it. That's it. No.
so it
That's
seems we
it.
have reached something of an impasse here. Fool, what do you think about this whole CM Punk situation? What do you think is going to happen and what do you think should happen?
First off, I'm gonna say just good job on your guys' debate. I had fun listening. Uh, there's only one real simple solution on what to do with CM Punk now. Have him be a commentator on Ring of Honor when they actually get that TV deal.
Hey, if they want, instead of letting his contract run out, if they figured, hey, we're gonna give him
Like, let
money
him out of his
anyway,
let him out of his AEW contract and just give him a Ring of Honor contract since it's supposed to be a separate company.
which it really isn't. Let's, for all intents and purposes,
Let's be real now.
let's be
Let's
real.
be
with
real now.
ourselves.
He'll want to stay working for Tony Khan because he apparently has him like under his thumb. At least enough to have him go off when he did that press conference. And he was just like, Tony Khan,
I'm
I
of
feel
the
like I should
opinion that
stop, but I feel like I would be in his wrath if I don't.
I'm of the opinion that he just sort of got shell shocked. They never expected that from Punk. But hey,
I agree.
That's a debate for another time.
I actually feel the same way. Like, he was just like, where the hell did this come from?
He's just like, where the fuck am I? Did I wake up in another dimension or something?
But yeah, that's the only funny, like, kind of a joke as it is. I could just see him wanting to just stay away from the people of AEW, because we all know Kenny and the Bucks are coming back.
I sure hope so.
It's just the question on, yes, you're right, fool. He does love professional wrestling, but what is he going to do in the business now that he has really put this much shade on not only excuse me, on not only him coming back or like his return in general, but to some like Scholar Brian, his entire legacy. He heard it with that press conference, because coming in just saying he came in a better person and is just now super excited, and just the old tricks just came right back after Hangman Adam Page saying something that he didn't like.
Yeah, it's like he loves professional wrestling, but it's like obviously not enough to keep your shit close to the vest.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't need to know that.
Oh yeah, of course.
We didn't need to know all that. Okay, you could have kept it in house. We would have never had to know. You could have worked it out. But instead, we all know that because you couldn't keep your mouth shut because you're a whiny fucking child. You're 40 years old throwing a man tantrum after you won the damn title. Keep your mouth shut, bro. I have no sympathy for you anymore.
It's really now reached the point where, yes, this stuff is now happening, but I don't want it to basically tarnish what's going on in AEW right now, because what's going on in AEW right now is just so phenomenal. Man, I don't know where this cough is coming from. It's so phenomenal that I just want to focus on the now. Do I want him to come back? Honestly, I love CM Punk, but I don't want him to come back either. If he's going to keep going back to that kind of behavior, then I just don't want to deal with it.
I don't blame you.
Right now, wrestling in general, Raw, Dynamite, SmackDown, I can't say Rampage because I'm not really watching it. Because hell, it's on while we're recording right now. So, well, I see that you're probably watching it, right, fool?
Yes, I've got it right across the way from me.
It's like, I bring it up and I just see your corner of your eye.
Yeah, when I'm not on camera,
So what's happening right now?
Right now, it's a triple threat between Orange Cassidy, Roosh, and Dark Order's 10 for the All Atlantic Championship.
I remember that being announced.
But yeah, good stuff all around, and I
good
want
stuff all around. That I'm actually going to put it on.
Yeah, so
I'll have it on in the background myself. But yeah, like, it's proving my point. The product that every show has, SmackDown, Raw, Dynamite, and now I'm turning on to Rampage. It's good product. all around wrestling, good product. Now it's just now Triple H wanting to let go of his ego and just be like, yeah, we're referencing every single wrestling company except AEW. It's like
Like,
Yeah,
I
they're
am not
mad
happy that you
scared.
beat me. I am not happy that you beat me on Tuesdays, man. I am making sure I'm getting my revenge on this. I have the tools now to basically destroy you. That's Triple H right now to AEW.
except that's the problem because AEW and NXT ratings came out for Tuesday and AEW won, so that didn't work out as well for him as he thought it would because he bought a whole bunch of people from WWE, Raw, and SmackDown over to NXT to try to bump the ratings, and yeah.
But yes,
So
since we're
you
talking about WWE at this point, do we want to talk about the world of WWE kicking things off with Monday Night Raw, or you got anything else about the CM Punk situation?
again, let's leave CM Punk in the past right now.
Fair enough, because I think you've got more to say about Monday Night Raw than I do at this point. I'm just glad Elias is officially back.
Of
I'm the
course.
only one. Crickets.
Hey,
I get you.
Hey,
I will say, he's in a good spot. Now, something that we talked about before recording, there is now a actual universal title mid
United
card.
States,
United States
title, universal title. Woof.
Did I say, wait, did I say universal?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
you did.
I'm mixing my tongues. United States Championship mid card division. We have Elias, we have Mustafa Ali, we have Seth Rollins as the champion. We have Matt Riddle. We have essentially a main event scene for Raw. We have big USA networks complain of Roman's not on. We need a champion to represent the show. Seth Rollins being United States champion is perfect for it. As I like Bobby Lashley. I thought he had a pretty decent title reign. Decent meaning he was the third wheel of someone else's storyline. Now that the United States champion can actually, be the center of a storyline, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I didn't think of it quite that way, nor did I. I guess it's because I never really thought that the US title could be of that importance. But you make a good point.
Yeah,
There's a
former
lot of
world champion
possibility
Seth
with the
Rollins
US title now.
yeah, former world champion Seth Rollins, who has his legacy. I mean, shit, man, cashed in at WrestleMania. He has his own major WrestleMania moment, and having someone like that defend the United States Championship, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I certainly dig it.
And the Judgment Day versus OC is just awesome.
Oh yeah,
I can't wait for more of it.
And the fact that you had a Brock Lesnar beatdown, and I believed every minute of it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man,
It
actually makes me.
It didn't come out of nowhere. It was deserved, and the guy who did it actually made me believe, like, okay, this is real. Like, he can actually do this to this dude. Like, as much as Roman Reigns fought this guy, like, there was never a brawl that made me believe like he could actually do this to this dude in real life. Whereas Bobby Lashley, what he did during this Raw episode, it's like I can believe this. I can legitimately believe that Bobby Lashley would do this to this dude out on the street in the middle of the day. just just take him out, and it works, and it I'm actually invested in a Brock Lesnar match for the first time in a very long time.
I'll do you one better. I actually find myself caring about a Crown Jewel show. more so now than I ever have. Like, what is this? What's happening right now?
Time to play the game.
Triple
Time to
H
play
happened.
the
Okay.
game. The
And then
man
we
knows how
remembered
to put on good shows.
And then we remember that Roman Reigns is gonna eat Logan Paul. And then
You're right. That is a drawing of itself. I'll take it.
I will say though, God damn, I gotta give my respects to Logan Paul for actually being truly serious about really training for this. Like the video with him and Shawn Michaels, and I'm just like, you're never gonna be a face. You're never gonna be a likable character. But God damn it, I respect that I respect your commitment to it. You are actually being dead serious about
Yeah.
this.
And
that's
I
why
like the fact that he's leaning into his screw up.
Oh yeah.
He's leaning into it. He's like, "Oh, you're the head of the table. Well, I'm the table.
I am the table."
And they put it on Botchamania and all that. They're doing that, but he's like, "No, that wasn't a botch. I'm leaning into it. What are you gonna do now?" I said, "No."
Hey, I'll tell you what, as we also talked about earlier, there is no shortage of good promos this week. Looking at AEW for a moment, we had another classic MJF promo, this time with William Regal. Definitely seemed to be a more than a fair touch of realism to this one.
Oh,
break it down for us.
it wasn't more than a fair touch. I believe the whole thing was real. That it I can perfectly believe that MJF would be that type of person who would hold on to an email for 7 years and use that to fuel him and become what he is. And I can also believe William Regal being like, "You're a moron. You're a moron. I told you how to become what you are. You became what you are because I told you how to do it."
I'll be honest, that
and
Regal was giving me some serious Emperor Palpatine vibes with the way he was smiling at him. I was like, yes,
yeah. And then he was just like, and then he was, and the moment it was like his search your feelings Luke moment was when he turned around and was holding his arms out. Search your feelings, feel the dark side. That's it. And
Strike me down with all of your hatred, and your journey towards the dark side will be complete.
And when MJF couldn't do it, he was just like, "You're not bad. You're not bad enough yet. You have too much. You haven't proved a damn thing." So it's like, this is the one time where I can believe that MJF would be beaten in a promo.
not
But
so
it's
much
like,
beaten in my
no,
eyes.
but you understand where I'm actually going with it, where it's like I can understand where MJF would not have the last word. He would not technically win the promo.
He can dance.
It's no, it's one of those where he had. I'm not saying that MJF did not have an epic promo. I think it was MJF's best promo, but it's like I can also believe. I'm not gonna argue with people who said that, yeah, MJF had a really great promo, and then William Regal came and smacked him back to life, because that's basically what happened. MJF cut a really good cut a good babyface promo, saying, "You didn't believe in me. That's why I'm not in the big league. That's why I'm not in WWE right now. That's why I had to work as hard as I did to get where I am." And then William Regal's like, "You didn't work hard. Are you out of your mind? What are you doing?" That's it. You didn't do what I had to do to get through here. all you did was rest your laurels on an email that basically said you need to do this. You're not at the level you need to be right now to be WWE worthy. You need to work on this. And you held on to that to 7 years. You had it easy. I did not. Don't try to come at me with your millennial bullshit, is basically what William Regal said. and then, and then and it's like this was exactly what this needed to be, and it helped make everything make sense at the end, even after everything that went on during that match. When MJF came out and then said, "I'm not gonna take the easy way out at this point. We're gonna go to Full Gear at this. We're gonna go to Full Gear. I'm going to challenge you one on one." And that's when I'm gonna take the easy way out and win the championship there. That's it, you know?
Speaking of winning championships, Hangman Page unfortunately came up short in the worst way possible in his match against John Moxley this week. I admit I saw this live. I didn't know what to make of it, but we just saw Page get hit with a lariat, and he just went limp. And it was extremely scary. Fortunately, it was announced that he just suffered a concussion. I know, just suffered a concussion, but considering how
He's lucky
everything
it's
just
just
went
that.
limp, exactly. I'm just
'Cause
thankful it wasn't far
because
worse.
what I believe happened was when Hangman Page normally takes a lariat or a clothesline or anything like that, his body as a reflex goes into a backflip. That's just what it does. I don't know if it's like a standard thing that he does or whatever. And I guess Moxley came out of the corner too hot, hit him like right, I guess, side of the head, like right in the jaw, like enough to like rock him. And when he landed, he landed at an angle where he basically knocked himself out, and was lucky he didn't break his neck. So
It
as
honestly,
soon as soon as he
could've
hit
been
the
a lot
ground,
worse.
he was as soon as he hit the ground, he was out.
it is.
It
It
it's
was a
just
very
like,
scary sight. I am
yeah,
just super relieved that, like I said, it's the only bad thing to come out of it is that it was a concussion, and it's enough
yeah.
to not to be any stressful at any levels. It's scary whenever that happens, and it was just nothing more than a pure accident. It wasn't. It was just a mistimed, mishit, and basically not being able to completely do your move because, as Brian said, he just basically got hit in the face and he was basically seeing stars right
He
there.
was he was seeing stars. He went into the standard backflip cell of the
Yeah.
of the lariat that he normally does, and since he was seeing stars, he couldn't fully execute the backflip, so he landed on his head. And
Well,
so
all we can do now is just wish for him a very speedy recovery because, man, we're gonna miss not having him on our AEW TV. But
yeah,
I
that's
do want to quickly go back. I guess we could even transition for this because it brought out MJF showing that he wants to do this the right way, the right way by himself, by challenging it, basically cashing in the chip for Full Gear. So now the chip is a Money in the Bank contract for AEW. No arguments. It's nice to actually know what it's there for. I just want to go back to the Regal MJF storyline just to give my thoughts on that.
Mhm.
I think, yeah, Brian, you guys are absolutely right. That has to be MJF's best promo. And this whole storyline that he's been going through this year I'm pretty much just giving a spoiler, right? I think he's going to land my superstar of the year with how he's been presenting himself, all his from his promos to basically all the real life shit that's been happening backstage where not showing up. He is just such a talk that it's so interesting. And I'm thinking this has to be quite possibly the best transition for him to become a babyface and be the face of the company. I didn't look at it as like at least Regal's retort. I didn't look at it as Emperor Palpatine saying join the dark side. Maybe that happened a little later when he turned his back and just basically said do it. I felt like the whole like the beginning aspect, he just basically is like if it was only a email at 19 that got you riled up, then you're been getting treated lightly. And just his history when Regal was 16, getting beat up by grown men, 16, 17, 18, coming to the States. So yeah, I kind of got more when it comes to between them and each other's philosophies on like how much they love professional wrestling. I kind of just really got more Jigsaw and Detective Hoffman of Saw 5.
There's a reference for you.
It's October, man. It's the time of year. It's Halloween time. It's the time for Saw. And it reminds me of,
for those who don't know.
For those who don't know, in Saw 5, he's the main villain, the Jigsaw killer, John Kramer, is just basically explaining to a detective who actually framed him for murder. He said he murdered someone and made it look like a jigsaw trap. And basically, and for MJF's case, it's just how he looks at professional wrestling, what he was driven through, what was his drive in professional wrestling. And it's just Regal is now basically being Jigsaw, saying what you have is inferior. Your technique is inferior. And you have so much potential to be more than what you are now and not doing the shortcuts and all that. There, as Jigsaw, there is a better way. And yeah, this honestly, I can even want this to be MJF's initiation into Blackpool Combat Club. Because hell, he's facing Jon Moxley.
I'll tell you what, since you brought it up, this is sort of alluding to something that I feel like a lot of people have brought up ever since that promo. I don't know what to think about it, and I'm skeptical myself, but I want to know what you think. A lot of people have been speculating that this is sowing the seeds of a potential MJF face turn.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure about that, but maybe
no, because
in a relative sense. What do you think?
Because I promise you, the only way MJF as a face works is because the crowd cheers him on. Look, MJF as a character, MJF does not work as a babyface. You cannot have no. As MJF works as a character, as what he does, as how he speaks on the microphone, as no.
It is not. His storyline this year has just basically been building onto this. He is now, from his feud, his early year feud with CM Punk, just basically explaining why he is the villain. What drove him to be? Let me finish. What drove him to be the villain? And on this, he's saying he doesn't want to be the villain. He just now has to be the villain. And now when he's come back, he's trying to see, he couldn't be any more of a sympathetic character now, with just saying what is driving him to be a professional wrestler. He emphasized that email drove him to such a point where he thought he was going to kill himself. It was now reached that point where it is impossible for you not to sympathize with MJF's character where he is right now. And he's like, he knows he's the bad guy. He knows, because he said he has to be. And now with him really emphasizing that now he wants to do this without like the right way and not like cheating, by the way, like not any dirty tactics. I think it has now reached that point where it is impossible to have him as a heel. He can get back to that eventually because he's very talented man. He is a very talented young man. He can just do whatever he wants. But now in his story, he is now the very sympathetic, because now he's not a one-dimensional villain anymore. He is now a full-on three-dimensional character that you can now see the sympathy and what is driving him, and that is his love of professional wrestling.
And this is what my actual problem is. Okay, because MJF is the future of this business. MJF will be the face of this company. I just hate that every time that there's a face of the company, it has to be as a baby face.
He was pretty much face of the company when he was heel. He was one of the top. He was one of the most talked about things on the show.
But here's my problem. Okay, MJF. I'm not gonna be able to roll with it as a babyface. I never will. I'm
not saying he's gonna be that clean. He's not gonna be that clean like Hulk Hogan. Drink your milk, eat your vitamins type of heel. He's gonna be more of like the anti-authority, anti-hero. He's gonna be a Stone Cold. He's gonna be the Stone Cold for AEW.
What I need to happen. I'm sorry, I can't roll with you on this one, Tarek. I need him to cheat wholeheartedly, go full dastardly villain style, and cheat to beat Jon Moxley to win the AEW title, because I'm not going to be able to roll with a babyface MJF. I'm just not going to be able to do it, because it's like a babyface Kevin Owens. I can't do it. It's like a baby. It's just one of those things. It doesn't make sense to me. I can tell the story that they have is great. It's like they're rolling with it. It's all well and good. I have to be the villain and all that, and then it turns, and what I need it to be is that it turns into I don't have to be the villain. I want to be the villain. I've been this the whole time. Why did you think?
I feel like we got that already with CM Punk.
No, he's not gonna be. He's not gonna be there anymore. So you need.
I'm just saying that we got that heel thing with CM Punk with that awesome promo he had when that brought CM Punk out asking, was this all true? And left him as a bloody mess. We got that moment already. I don't want a repeat of that.
I sympathize with your hope. I sympathize with your hope. Okay, but I do not agree. I won't agree. This is one thing we won't agree on. I do not ever want to see MJF as a babyface. It does not and will not work for me.
If I can interject here, I think I see where both of you are going at. I don't see MJF going full face in the traditional sense. I think that he's going to get some cheers for a while. But ultimately, I think because of the kind of character that MJF portrays himself to be, whether exaggerating the truth, telling the full truth as he experienced it, twisting the truth just enough to get what he wants, I don't think it's going to be so much something new or a retread of something old, as much as it will be a fresher take on the MJF that we already know. Because regardless of face or heel, he when he gets that title, he's just gonna be he's not gonna stop being MJF at the end of the day. Can we all agree on that one?
Let me put it this way: when I see him, when I see him win he wins the title, he will shake William Regal's hand, and as Regal turns around, he will knock him out with the ring.
It's entirely
So
possible.
how
That
is
will
that-
be his Stone Cold Stunner.
Yeah, so how is that a babyface move? No, just kidding.
How is Stone Cold giving the babyface character a Stone Cold Stunner a babyface thing? It's not just a face or a heel thing anymore. He will be on the line as he will be in this background thing as a face. But yeah, he's gonna be basically the Stone Cold Steve Austin. He just does not care. And he just doesn't care. He just does what he wants.
At least for a while, until it's time for MJF to be heel and again a full on 100%
Exactly.
heel once again, and there's a fresh baby face who's ready to feud for him for the title, whoever that may be.
And that'll actually work because that's what he's good at, whereas Stone Cold wasn't, and that's why it didn't work.
Stone Cold wasn't a good heel.
No,
Oh,
That's why they-
then,
but
no.
that's why
I
they
just-
moved him back within 4 months. Legitimately, it was 4 months because they couldn't do it.
Oh, he had so much fun as being a heel, even if it is
Yeah,
just
ju-
from
just because he
from-
had fun with it doesn't mean it worked.
It worked for me. I think he was a very effective heel.
I just thought
from
he
when
was
he
okay.
first turned heel and by bashing Lita with a chair to him singing with Kurt Angle, joining the alliance. It worked for me.
No,
And then once it's over, he's just like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I'm still champion. I'm still a part of this. I still hate everyone." And that was his face, and that's his face turn, because it's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Well, speaking of riding the line in between facing face and heel and doing something completely different, that'll bring us back over to SmackDown, where we got the latest promo from one Bray Wyatt. First of all, did all of you catch this promo tonight on SmackDown?
I did.
Yes, and if I didn't think there were split personalities before, I certainly do now.
I think it's now. Yeah, I think it's come to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was
I'm not-
definitely a
I'm not-
lot.
I'm not the one I'm not the one leading this party now. I'm just a part of the circle.
Did you guys call the number that was a part of the QR code?
The number that was a part of the QR code.
You know, the QR code gave a phone number.
I thought the QR code led to a sheet, a psychiatric evaluation sheet. I noticed there was a
Well-
number at the top. That was a phone number?
Yeah, it's a phone number. I actually called it.
Okay, bring us up to speed. What did the number say?
I am not a zombie. You are not a zombie. Click.
That's actually what it said?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, that's wild.
Where does it
Kinda
go
creepy.
from here? I'm excited. Oh,
Serious alternate reality game vibes. I love
Call
it.
it again. Call it again tomorrow and see if it's anything different.
oh, absolutely not. It'll probably be already long gone by. It's probably long gone in another hour.
I don't know about that. Normally, if you're gonna pay for a phone line, it's gotta be a little bit longer than that.
Jesus Christ! It's those It's just like 900 numbers. Remember, like those old commercials in front of like animated movies. If you need to call someone, call 1-900 so and so, and you'll talk to one of the characters from the movie.
Wow, that's a throwback.
I know, right? Oh no! Oh no! My
Oh, no, the green screen's
fell!
falling.
I'm only half a scholar now.
Oh well.
It
Oh,
couldn't
no,
be
a
episode
technical-
400 without
technical
some
hiccup.
shenanigans.
Oh no! Oh well, whatever.
It happens.
Oh, that's funny. Oh,
When in doubt, listen to the audio only podcast version. Subscribe on Spotify.
that's funny, actually. Oh, no, that's
Anywho,
funny.
so what do you think of this whole Bray Wyatt scenario? I was really thought
As,
they were
as
talking about us,
look,
the audience, first. But then he's almost seemed like, okay, is he possibly talking about, is he talking to someone else? Is he talking
it,
to this Uncle Howdy person who made a little cameo later on in the show? What the hell is going on
legitimately,
here?
legitimately, the only thing, like, he's got split personalities going on in there. It's like it's too soon to know for sure what exactly is going on because, like, we're 2 weeks in. He had a promo as his regular self last week, and then you had that masked, that Uncle Howdy show up in the middle of it. And then this week it's the same thing, except this time he's a little bit darker, saying I'm just me now, but I'm a part of this circle and I'm not really in control of what happens from here. I'm gonna do horrendous things, but I'm
just
not
a
in
servant.
control. I'm just a servant. I'm not in control of what happens here. So it's like it's legitimately it it's
It
split
keeps you hooked on.
personality to the point.
I'm looking forward to where to next week.
I'm definitely looking forward to where it goes, but it's like this is Bray Wyatt. It's gonna take a while. Like, they've got writers specific. They signed writers specifically for this storyline right here. It's gonna take a while for it to play out. So 2 weeks is too early to be making any full on uh predictions or anything like that for what's gonna happen. All I can say right now is he's got split personalities and some weird shit's gonna be going on for the next few weeks. And considering it's Bray Wyatt, I'm here for it. That's it.
Hey, at
I
this
just wrote it
point,
all down.
I honestly just hope we get to see the Fiend again. I want to see the entire I hope this talk of the circle means that we're going to revisit the Fiend. We're going to revisit all of these other characters because they all seem way too fun to just like throw out like that, especially the Fiend.
But here's the deal. Okay, the Fiend, as much as I enjoyed the beginning of it, it did get old quick based on the liabilities of the wrestling that you could do with that character. So if you're going to bring him back as just like a character, then I'll be all for it. But I don't need to see the Fiend in a wrestling ring again. I don't need to see the
Oh, I
Fiend
do.
wrestling because no, I don't, because it's
Treat him
like I
like
don't need I
treat him like the demon for with Finn Balor. Break him out on some rare occasions. Use him as like a special nuclear option or a special attraction.
but it's legitimately like it's not even interesting to me at that point, because if you break out the Fiend, he's gonna win. He's gonna win handily, and he's gonna win quick. So it's like at that point, it's look, have the Fiend do attacks. Not that have the Fiend do attacks, have the Fiend do mental shit, but don't have the Fiend in a wrestling ring because you're already telling me who's gonna win. That's it.
Historically, I can see why you'd feel that way. I think there's enough room for adjustment where if you wanted to use the Fiend in a match, there's ways of making it work. At least there's some plausible deniability, I guess you'd call it. But really at this point, right now, I just want to see the entire pantheon of characters all in the mix somewhere. Like, you don't need to have like Rambling Rabbit, for example, in a match, but as long as he's in the mix, he brings his own thing to the table. Same thing with Sister Abigail, same thing with the rest of the Funhouse. I'm sure the same thing with this Uncle Howdy, whoever that's going to be. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of creativity to go around on every conceivable level. Whether or not those characters are actually in matches or not, wherever he is, I just like the Fiend and I want to see him show up somewhere, match or not.
I mean,
Is
I
that
guess
fair?
that's fun. I guess that's fun. I don't,
Acceptable.
as I said, I don't need him in a match. If he's gonna attack people and do mental shit to people, then I'm like, that's all well and good. And then Swamp Guy Bray Wyatt could come out and beat him the way that the way the wrestling should. I'm like, I'm sorry, but the the Fiend got old for me after like three matches. I'm like everything that he was doing outside of wrestling was great, but in the ring, I was like, okay, after three matches, I've had enough. That's it.
Tarek, let's pitch it over to you real quick before we move on. Where do you see this going? Do you think we're going to see the Fiend in a wrestling ring again? Are we going to see Bray alone? Are we going to see something else? What do you think?
I haven't the slightest idea, and that's what I love about it.
Hey, I can't argue with that one either.
I don't, because this is such a different direction for Bray. I just can't. I'm willing to go the long run. Just bring on continue building this world however little you can. I'm excited.
Yes, me too. But speaking of building things up and expanding and preserving what we love, of course, as we mentioned at the top of the show, and as you saw in the description, we are reflecting as it's our 400th episode as of today. Man, we've been going at this for a while, and it's reason to reflect, it's reason to celebrate. It's getting me a little nostalgic. Just think of all the time that's passed since we started doing this. Seriously, if you take a moment, whoever you are, if you're watching this on YouTube, go take a look at back on our channel, see how long we've been doing this. And that's only the one that we've been able to preserve and put on YouTube. There's been other episodes that we've put on a now defunct podcast hosting service that got lost in the shuffle. We had our earliest episodes were on Blog Talk Radio, and we're done live, and we took phone calls. It was a really wild time. I wish we could have preserved every single episode that we ever did, but unfortunately that wasn't in the cards. But thankfully we were able to preserve most of them. And for us anyway, for me, they are loaded with memories and are almost like little stamps of different periods in our lives and in the wrestling world. And it's a very unique gift at this point. That's look at where we've come from, where we've been, and not for nothing, if I can get sappy for a moment, that we've all been there together.
Yeah.
Yes. My favorite memories of all the back episodes are when all of us went on our little versions of rants. But the Jeff Roman Reigns rant of yesteryear, before the last couple years, I think, what was that, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, when you went on the full
That sounds
Roman
about
Reigns
right.
rant? When you went on a full Roman Reigns rant, the only thing that we've ever actually cut from an episode and made its own video just
So far.
so far, but it's like that was epic. And of course, the one time you got me to break on an episode, when you just the Daniel Bryan Royal Rumble bit, where you were just like, if Daniel Bryan doesn't win the Royal Rumble, it's a failure. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck Daniel Bryan.
For a second there, I thought you were talking about when I referenced Del Dandy for the first time.
No. That killed an entire episode dead. That was at the end of an episode, and we had to end it afterwards because nobody else had anything to say. You know,
Brian.
You know who could have beaten Goldberg? Who, Jeff? Who? El Dandy.
El Dandy.
What do you
I
got for
found
us,
the
Sark?
video. I found the video. It is 8 years old.
Oh shit.
Wow.
The Jeff scholar moment or scholars moment. Jeff Smith versus Roman Reigns,
Oh dear.
and just the picture. I don't know if you can see it. Roman Reigns celebrating and Jeff just going.
Yeah, that's blurry as hell.
I'm
And
gonna
that's
just,
even if you're watching the video version right now. Oh, brother. But I'll tell you
Yeah,
what.
because El Dandy was the Blog Talk Radio days, so I don't even know if we
Here
can
we go.
actually find that.
I don't know if we could actually tell Jeff with your mouth gauging open.
Still kind of blurry on my end, but that's all right. Honestly,
All right, I'll take a
there's
picture of
been
it.
so many memories, just like days and episodes, conversations all blending together. One thing that just strikes me out, jumps out to me rather, right now is us introducing both the Scholars World Championship belts, the modern
You're
version,
welcome.
yes, and the Party Championship belt. That to me is just like that was a tangible physical thing that sort of took the fun up to the next level in my eyes. Something new that really spurned competition on every single level and gave something unique to the world of Scholars of Wrestling. That one was a lot of fun, and just some of the fantasy games that we started doing and expanding upon.
Scholar in the bank, the beef case.
Exactly. Just all the different ways that we made this show more engaging, more interactive with the audience that we have, and just with our friends too. That was the kind of things that brought an already special experience up to the next level. And that I can just look back at that and all the moments that those belts and those games have spawned. And I just it's a great memory for me.
It truly is. It and just knowing that there are more memories to be built on the horizon.
Oh yes. I know I've got some ideas as far as what I'd like to do in the future. First, as far as the next 100 episodes, I know I'd like to start doing more reviews of wrestling related products. Uh Maybe do a couple cooking episodes. I'm pretty sure brought this up before.
You have.
Yeah, well, now I can actually get a decent camera and I can actually start filming again.
Get it from the WWF cookbook.
I will. We'll
Yeah, I
we'll
know
give
you
it a
have it.
try. We'll see what we got.
It's like I know
I
you still
will
have it.
I have both of them. They're lying around somewhere, and I'd be more than happy to give them all a try. So I'd like to do that. And truthfully, in terms of the games I was talking about, I know this year we've done a lot of prediction games that were publicly available, but with truthfully, I'll finish this that year out. But with the rest of the year, with interest seeming to decline, instead, I think I'm going to try and expand the Royal Rumble game, give it a fresh coat of paint, make it more fresh and exciting again. Maybe possibly putting some prizes up for the lot on the line. Who will see?
At least it's like at least for us at the on the show at your house. Like for the crowd over at your place.
Oh, I've got some ideas in the can. We'll see how it all develops and what ends up being possible. But I know I'm not the only one with ideas. We're talking beforehand that Park, you had some ideas, things you might want to be interested in exploring.
Oh yes, as we continue to wanting to expand on what we want to provide content wise, there not only is it like a cooking show, but also more talk shows. Like you said, more reviews. Maybe just not even just shows, but other aspects of certain topics. And who else but to discuss said topics than the undisputed scholars?
So you're
And
just
just,
gonna muscle me out
'cause-
then, huh?
No,
No, it's just
no,
more.
th-
It's just
no. We're just gonna do it the old school way, where this whole entire idea came into being from an hour-long conversation outside of Scholar Charlie's house, where Scholar Tarek and myself were just bullshitting on how Undertaker should retire. and
Un-
and so it's and so it just makes sense that while we have the main show on Fridays,
we have
it's
spin-offs.
like we have spin-offs and we have little shows. So like you want to do, so like if Scholar Jeff wants to do a cooking episode, or wants to do a review of something that he bought that no one else has bought, he can just go ahead and do that and put it up on the site. Whereas if Scholar Tarek and I have something to talk about, or if Scholar Jeff and Scholar Tarek have something to talk about, or if Scholar Jeff and Scholar and myself have something to talk about, we can just hop on the Zoom and put up a show like that. So we do so
Put out more content than just one episode,
more content.
one main show that's once a week.
It's like we'll have the main show every week. That's just
That's
the
just
main
no
thing
brainer.
of what we do. That's just what we do. But it's like we are no longer shackled by, we're only doing this once a week on Fridays every week. If you have something to say, and if you have someone who wants to say something with you in that topic that you want to talk about, then just throw something up.
Hell, it could just be like reviews of of wrestling related video games. Hell, just have your own little time of playing said video game, especially like a live stream if you want, or just a simple watch me play type video. Anything to expand the Scholars of Wrestling, to just continue just to add more content to our audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's thankfully I always thought of you, Tarek, in particular as the creative spirit of Scholars. We all bring something that's very unique to the world of Scholars of Wrestling that no individual person can replace. I truly believe we are greater than the sum of our parts, especially with bringing some of our new scholars into the fold and just creating this new environment with new things. And it's that kind of spirit, especially with all you guys, that makes this show what it is and keeps it being worthwhile even after 400 episodes and all these years. So cheers to all of you, and cheers of course to Scholars Charlie and Scholars Jeremy.
Who we were just refusing to allow on the show tonight. Keep it the OGs.
How dare you?
We're joshing, of course. We love you guys. But yes, special props as always also goes to Mr. JML himself for helping to bring the original idea together in the first place. I always want to bring him up, who also ended up being I believe, our first official party champion. So props where they're due. Thank you for your contributions. And here's, as for us, everyone else, here's to another 100 episodes more and far beyond, whether they be more official episodes, reviews, or every single crazy idea that we come up with. We can't wait to see you there. Let us know what you think. And thank you for joining us on this crazy ride.
Very much. Thank you all very much.
Yes, never as much as I like the fact that we made it this far, I can't believe that we made it this far, but we're here now. And thank you to all of you who believed in us and watch us the amount that you do.
And we want to just continue our best to provide you more with what we have in our creative minds up here.
But yes, where we're going to end up, though, there's really only one way to find out. Strap yourselves in because there's more scholars to come. And if you want to hear more about us and you want to hear more from us and our commentaries, or just check us out individually, you can always check us out on the Twitter machines. Follow us there. Fool, where can they reach you?
You can reach me continuing to display the championship of the Scholars of Wrestling. Hold it with pride at the Avataric.
And Brian, where can they reach you?
You can reach me yelling at the clouds about how MJF should never be a babyface ever at Atomic Beanpole.
Yeah, and you can check me out on Twitter at I'm Robbie Rage. Join in the conversation, and for all these links and more, just check the description. Look for our link tree. That's linktree/Scholars of Wrestling for all those links and more. Fool, you got one more thing for us?
Okay, I don't know if you guys can actually hear me. My Bluetooth actually died, so I don't know if you can hear me, but I can't hear you. But, oh, okay,
Yep.
there we go.
We
There
can
we
hear
go.
you.
Now it's popped back. Okay, good. I was gonna try and fix it, but now I can. I want to now. I actually thought about this the other night. While I was having conversations with friends, I decided to pull out a GIF of the patriarch of the Scholars of Wrestling, Damian Sandow, Aaron Stevens, and I want to try one day to have whoever, I don't care who is the Scholars of Wrestling champion, when this happens, we got to make it our personal mission to have a picture with the savior of the unwashed masses, Mr. Damian Sandow. Scholars of Wrestling, picture with Damian Sandow, Aaron Stevens. It has to be done.
Hey, I think it's totally possible to do. We just got to track him down. Hey, if we can make that a goal for next year, we'll see if we can pull it off.
We managed to actually exist in him. He knows we're real. Thanks to you. Thank you, Fool, for that awesome birthday message. By the way, I'll
Thank
keep
you,
that forever.
Cameo.
Thank you, Cameo. But yes, we have. It's now hell. Just to he needs to hold the belt too.
Hey, anything is possible in this world. But we'll see where we all end up in the next year and beyond to the next 400 episodes. It's going to get weird, but you already knew that because you know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
See you on the other side for another 100 episodes of craziness.